Good morning. It's Wednesday, January 5th. We're bringing you the latest news making headlines to help you start your day.
This morning, we're learning where Governor Kemp is deploying National Guard troops in our state.
Those troops are helping medical personnel all over Metro Atlanta as our new mayor, Andre Dickens, extends the mask mandate. Trayson Bragg is at Piedmont Atlanta Hospital with the latest.
Good morning, Gavir. Yeah, we now know that those troops are headed to a mix of testing sites and hospitals, including right here at Piedmont Atlanta. Now, we're learning this morning that Governor Kemp has now deployed 102 National Guard troops to assist hospitals that are currently stretched thin, 11 facilities to be exact, including Grady, Wellstar, and as I said, right here at Piedmont Atlanta. Hospitals aren't the only facilities being swarmed by patients and in need of assistance, though. COVID testing sites have recently seen hours-long wait times as people hope to learn their status. To assist those sites, the governor is also deploying 96 additional troops to 16 Department of Public Health testing sites across the state. This as health officials still work to learn exactly why Omicron is so contagious.
Each mutation and each variant, we are unclear what the characteristics are going to be. We all know that the virus has the capacity to learn, capacity to evade, and that's what we want to be concerned about.
Now, for a full list of all the sites that those troops are headed to, you can head to our website, cbs46.com, for that information. But I also want to mention here that that decision by Governor Kemp is not the only decision here locally in the battle against COVID. I should say the only big decision in the battle against the pandemic here. Coming up in the next half hour, I'll tell you about a decision by Atlanta's new mayor that is also made in hopes of defeating the pandemic. Reporting live in Atlanta, I'm Trayson Bragg, CBS 46 News.
Yeah, Trayson, thanks so much for that. And of course, those decisions also having to be made in our schools, right, Rob?
Yeah, that's right. We want to talk about COVID in our schools right now. The high case counts come as school districts across Metro Atlanta beginning the second semester this week. And our Rebecca Schramm is live in Cobb County this morning, where students return to class in person this morning.
Hi, Rob. Yeah, it'll be business as usual here in Cobb County for the start of the second semester. Students here at Smyrna Elementary and all the other school districts in the county will return this morning in person after the winter break. Now, besides Cobb, students in Douglas County and also Griffin Spalding schools are returning in person today. Of course, they're still requiring anyone who tested positive for COVID-19 to stay home until their quarantine period is over. Some school districts wanted to give it a little more time, though, after the holidays before they jumped back into in-person learning. So starting the second semester in a virtual model today are DeKalb and Clayton County schools. For those returning in person, here's something to think about. Cold season is upon us. So what is a parent to do if a child gets a runny nose? Well, Dr. Adam Keating of the Cleveland Clinic says keep the child at home until you know whether it's a cold or COVID.
If they have a little bit of a runny nose and a PCR-based COVID test came back negative, then I think we can say that it was negative and this isn't COVID. So if they're feeling well enough, then those kids can go back to school. I would recommend that they wear a mask so they don't spread the cold around the school as well.
Here in Cobb County, masks remain optional, although they are strongly encouraged. We're going to be speaking with parents this morning to see how they are handling all of this, their children returning for the second semester with COVID now running rampant. We're live in Smyrna. Rebecca Schramm, CBS 46 News.
Rebecca, thanks. Now at 6:06, we're keeping an eye on today with the stories you need to know.
A man remains in the hospital this morning after losing his leg when he got trapped under a MARTA train. It happened at the Vine City station. MARTA shut down the train and all power to the tracks, and a spokesperson says several shunts were put into place to protect the man and the firefighters during the extrication. MARTA says the man was trespassing, but we're still working to learn why he was on the tracks.
The former mayor of Stonecrest, who's facing federal fraud charges, has a change of plea hearing today. Jason Larry just announced his resignation. Prosecutors say he stole more than $650,000 in COVID relief money to pay his taxes and mortgage. He's pleaded not guilty.
On Friday, the three men convicted of killing Ahmaud Arbery will learn their fate. Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan will be sentenced in the same Brunswick courtroom where a jury convicted them last year. They all face the possibility of life in prison.
Today, Governor Kemp is going to visit a local gun shop to push for a new state law. It would loosen handgun requirements. The legislation would basically eliminate the need for a license to carry a handgun in public. Right now, more than 20 other states allow concealed weapons in public without a permit.
Former President Donald Trump is canceling a news conference that was scheduled to be held tomorrow on the one-year anniversary of the deadly riot on Capitol Hill. He was expected to discuss the riot and the ongoing investigation into that day's events. He plans to speak at a rally in Arizona later this month instead. Just about 6:08 this morning, Interstate 95 in eastern Virginia is back open after a severe winter storm left people stranded for more than a day.
You know, this is really kind of shocking to see because they're used to this mess up
Yeah.
there, but they clear the roads usually. Brooks Baptiste is here. There was a father and a daughter from Atlanta who weren't stranded on the highway, but on an Amtrak train.
Yeah, good morning to you guys. You know, there's only one way to put this. It was a nightmare. Just take a look at some of these images showing how these cars and semi-trucks were at a standstill. Many people were stranded in freezing temperatures. And yes, I-95, as you can see, it was a mess starting late Monday evening. Didn't reopen until 6 o'clock Tuesday night. But get this, not only were motorists affected, some Amtrak passengers were stuck for more than 30 hours due to storm debris on tracks. Sean Thornton and his daughter Isabella boarded an Amtrak train. You know, you saw that they were excited late Sunday night, but they ended up, they were coming from Atlanta, traveling to Charlottesville, and it was supposed to be just this quick trip, but they were stuck on the train for nearly 40 hours. Thornton, as you can see, documented their time with videos showing how the two were trying their best just to make the most of it. And like many passengers, they were frustrated as food began running low and toilets were even backed up.
We've been trapped in a train for about 35 hours in a trip that was supposed to take about 10 hours.
So it was just a horrible situation for a lot of those passengers on the train and even for those on the roads, many of them saying that they just wish that there was a plan in place for those unexpected conditions. But the good news is, guys, no deaths or injuries were reported.
And that's amazing, honestly, considering how severe it got. Because
I
there's people
know.
who were calling newsrooms, asking for
Right.
more information, really in kind of a dire situation. So that is the good news, Brooks. Thanks. Welcome back. It's 6:15, and this is a live look at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. As we approach the one-year anniversary of the deadly riot on Capitol Hill, we now know Fox News host Sean Hannity was texting members of the Trump administration in the days leading up to the insurrection. And as Laura Podesta reports, a congressional committee wants to interview him about it.
The bipartisan congressional committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol wants to hear from Sean Hannity.
Speaking of swamp politicians,
The Fox News host did not address the request on his show last night. His lawyer, Jay Sekulow, a member of President Trump's impeachment team, said they will respond as appropriate. The committee released text messages Hannity sent to White House staff, including this one on January 5th. "I'm very worried about the next 48 hours. In their letter to Hannity, the committee wrote, "With the counting of the electoral votes scheduled for January 6th at 1 p.m., why were you concerned about the next 48 hours?
He was more than a Fox host. He was also a confident advisor, campaigner for the former president.
Former President Trump canceled his own press event that was scheduled for January 6th. Laura Podesta, CBS News, Washington.
3 more law enforcement officers are suing Mr. Trump over actions leading up to the attack. 7 officers sued the former president back in August.
Classes are canceled today in Chicago public schools after the teachers union voted to refuse to show up for in-person work.
The layers of mitigation that we need to keep our schools open and to keep our students inside of the school buildings have not happened here in Chicago.
The Chicago Teachers Union says 73% of its members voted in favor of moving to remote learning. It's not clear whether that's going to happen starting tomorrow.
Late Night with Seth Meyers will be canceled for the rest of the week after Seth Meyers tested positive for COVID. Meyers says he's feeling fine, which he attributed to his vaccination and booster shots. And this announcement comes after Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon said he has COVID. Fallon said the crew told him his test results in an isolation room and he only experienced mild symptoms from the virus.
And the View hosts are working remotely too after Whoopi Goldberg tested positive for COVID. Co-host Joy Behar says Goldberg is expected to be back next week. Production should return to normal then. Happening tonight, the countdown is on. Nobody won the Powerball jackpot in nearly 3 months. The cash prize growing again this morning.
Our Tori Cooper is in Mableton this morning. Tori, $610 million is on the line. So you buying a yacht with all that money or what?
It's pretty close, Rob. I would go to Greece first, then I would buy a family compound somewhere off the coast, and then we would just live our lives, and then we'd invest in property and just never have to work again. And this would be my last show, so that's what I would do with the money, Rob. There have been more than 36 drawings for the Powerball jackpot, and no one has won. But that could all change tonight. Now, that $610 million jackpot is the 7th largest in Powerball jackpot history. The jackpot has a cash value of $434 million, which is not too shabby. The last time the Powerball jackpot was this big was back in October of 2021 when it reached $700 million. Experts say your chances of winning aren't too great. 1 in 292 million. That's how many chances you have. But the customers we spoke to at convenience stores across the metro have some plans for that cash.
Make sure my parents are good.
I reinvested in a lot of it, probably a couple $1 million I definitely would give to people that need it.
All right, well, tonight's drawing will take place at 10:59 on the dot. We will all anxiously be waiting to see who the winner will be. Straight ahead, we'll see if we can snag someone out here who purchased a ticket. Reporting live in Cobb County, I'm Tori Cooper, CBS 46 News.
Welcome back. It's just about 6:27. The Great Resignation isn't showing any signs of slowing down. The Department of Labor says 4.5 million Americans quit their jobs in November. That's a new record. A lot of those resignations are coming from the restaurant industry, trucking, and healthcare.
Now we know that many jobs can be done remotely. Now we know that there can be a higher degree of flexibility.
And all those people, by the way, are quitting right in the middle of a worker shortage. Right now, there are 10.6 million job openings in the U.S.
Well, it's the return of perhaps the greatest gift of all time, restaurant gift cards. Did Rodney write that? According to new sales data, restaurant gift card sales bounced back by 43% this past holiday season compared to the year before, and the average gift card value went up a little more than $35. The most popular gift cards this holiday season were DoorDash, Starbucks, and Grubhub. Darden Restaurants, Chipotle, and Domino's also made the top 10.
Thanks for watching CBS 46 News. Watch us live wherever you are, our mobile and our streaming news app. You can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.